There is life, even 500 meters below the entire ice sheet of Antarctica, where sunlight has never reached. In that world of eternal darkness, some small isolated creatures have survived for thousands of years. The entire ice sheet here extends to a depth of about 5 kilometers. From above, it seems like a white, empty desert, lifeless and silent. But under that white surface, miraculous things are hidden. Mysterious rivers flowing in the opposite direction, a crater wider than a city, active volcanoes, and millions of years old air bubbles hidden in the earth, locked in the largest freshwater reservoir. And now, powerful countries are vying to control this reservoir. China is building new permanent bases, and Russia is conducting geological surveys. But what is there under the ice that everyone is so desperate for? What are they really looking for? To find the answer to that question, we have to go down to the frozen ice of Antarctica today. Antarctica is the 5th largest continent in the world by area. Even the entire United States and Mexico combined would not be equal to it. About 70% of the world's water is contained within the continent's ice sheet, which is so thick that it could cover the European Alps. It is the coldest, driest, and windiest region in the world. In winter, the sun does not rise for months. Temperatures can drop to minus 90 degrees Celsius, and strong storms blow everything away. Yet, even in such a hostile environment, life has not stopped there. Penguins and seals live in groups on the ice-covered shores. A variety of fish roam the seabed. Even in the deep, dark waters of the ice, small creatures like microbes and shrimps, animals somehow survive. Yes, nature has spread life everywhere in its own way. The ice of Antarctica is actually a huge library of time. Every year, snow falls here continuously and is pressed down by its own weight, accumulating layer by layer, just like the annual rings of a tree trunk. Each layer of ice is the silent history of a year, and tiny air bubbles get trapped in that layer, which retain the air sample of that year. Thus, under the frozen ice of Antarctica, the prehistory of the Earth's climate, starting from the ancient atmosphere, the details are hidden. Scientists have drilled several kilometers deep and brought up long ice blocks, the lower end of which also contains air from about 1.2 million years ago. This information has revealed when the Sahara Desert was a green forest, when mammoths roamed the earth. And through this, it has been possible to know that the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere was half of today's level. Ice never forgets anything. What I have said so far is only the upper part of this continent. If we go deeper, Antarctica will open up more global secrets before us. There are worlds hidden in Antarctica that are beyond human imagination. There is a whole world of water under the ice. Thousands of hidden rivers and lakes are spread like a web in the depths of Antarctica. Some of them are bigger than cities. They have survived without sunlight for millions of years. Suddenly, when all the water in the river changes its course and flows quickly to another place, the ice above it rises up to several meters, as if something moved inside the belly of the ice. Sometimes, this hidden world reveals itself through the ice. For example, the mysterious dark red river that comes out from the side of the Tellur Glacier, the waterfall is called Blood Falls. At first glance, it seemed as if blood was dripping from the ice. Later, scientists realized that it was actually ancient salt water, trapped hundreds of meters below the ice, in which there is a lot of iron mixed in. As the ice breaks up, the air oxidizes the iron, turning the water red and purple. And this red waterfall proves that the nutrient-rich water under the ice reaches the sea and flows throughout the environment. For example, the iron and nutrients in that water nourish tiny algae in the sea. Countless krill, or shrimp, survive by eating that algae. And the world's largest animal, the blue whale, depends on krill for its survival. Once upon a time, blue whales were almost extinct in the waters of Antarctica due to constant hunting by humans. Today, they are slowly reviving, but how they can survive in the changing sea is still a mystery. Now let's dive deeper. Far below the ice lies a vast abyss called the Bastak, which has been frozen in ice for millions of years without sunlight. scientists believe that its waters may contain all the life that exists on Earth. Nowhere else has it been seen. There are more than 700 glacial lakes beneath Antarctica, in addition to the ice caps, and scientists have already found traces of microbes and microorganisms by drilling into a few of them. Even tiny shrimp-like creatures that swim in dark water far from sunlight have been found in the locked samples taken from the ice floor. All this shows how deep and inhospitable life can be. So scientists think that such life could also exist under the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn. Now we have arrived. On the real land of Antarctica, let's explore the real underground of Antarctica by removing the ice sheet. Because it is covered in ice, it was not known until now that there are huge mountains and valleys under it, which are a world-class sight. The gambers of the mountains are as high as the Alps in Europe. Denman Canyon is the deepest canyon in the world, about 3.5 kilometers deep, but it was completely hidden behind the ice. In addition, a series of dormant volcanoes have been discovered under the ice in the western part, which do not explode but melt the ice from below. The fossils found in the rock layers are constantly showing that this icy land was once a Greenland millions of years ago, when Antarctica was part of the Gondwana continent. At that time, there were dense forests, rivers, and animal settlements here. Over time, this continent moved to the South Pole and was covered in ice. But the traces of that lost world remain in the fossils and soil of the rocks. This is the invisible treasure of Antarctica, for which the powerful countries of the world are now trying to take a strategic position. Because geologists think that Antarctica down there may be deposits of coal, oil, gas, and rare minerals, as abundant as in South America, Africa, and Australia, which could be worth trillions of dollars. But now, these resources are sleeping in eternal ice, because in the 1959 agreement, Antarctica was turned into an area dedicated only to peace and scientific research. Mining or military activities are still prohibited here. However, the opportunity to review this agreement for the first time will come in 2048. If the ban is lifted then, a new competition for resources will begin on the ice. But even then, Russia is conducting geological surveys to find oil and gas. China is increasing its presence by building new stations. And the activities of countries like the United States have decreased a lot as they have occupied other countries. And with this opportunity, the balance of influence in Antarctica is gradually shifting towards China and Russia. But the environment of Antarctica is very sensitive because the ice, the sea, and the fauna are so intertwined here that if one is hit, the others are affected. The balance that has been built over millions of years can collapse in a few decades due to the game of greed. Although for 7 years, this continent has remained peaceful because of the treaty. But 2048 is not far away, and that's when the future of Antarctica will be decided.